let's say that there is a client meeting that you have to attend on related to, let's say that you are about to discuss something with the client. Okay, so what you guys will do? So let's say first, Sonam has 11 years of experience, so let us keep her for the end. uh, let's go with Rempa. So if you are asked to go for a client meeting, so what are things that you're gonna do?
Okay, so I'll make sure that I I get to know what the client wants or requires and discuss with them the problem, and then maybe give them solution. And yeah, I think so.
Okay, yeah, fine. Now, Suresh, can you give it a try?
Yeah, sure. So when I'm going in a meeting with the clients, so I'm gonna like greet them, and then client will tell him about like what is their like job, what they want us to do, and everything. Like I will understand what is their domain, like what business they are in.
So that's all. You don't have any other things to say about it?
Yeah, so then I will ask them like open-ended question once once they start discussing about what what they want us to do.
See, I think if you are answering this same thing to the recruiter, right? They may caught you at one point. Okay, because when you say that, I'm gonna question you, I'm gonna have a questions with that client. When you say that open end questions, there are actually four types of questions that you can ask a client. Okay, the first one is open questions, then there is closed questions, then there is clarification questions, and then there is conclusion kind of things. Okay, so if you open such kind of a point with respect to a recruiter, then they're gonna play with you. And when I told Rimpa that don't give me any technical answers, that's what that I want you to think about. Okay, I want you to think about, so when you have a client meeting, how does the BA thinks? I want to know that answer. Okay, now let's go with Monica.
So Avinash, I would understand first what is the scope of this meeting, and why am I meeting the client, and who's that stakeholder? The client, what kind of stakeholder he is, and I would plan my meeting accordingly for if it is a requirement elicitation or is it a open-end questions, and based on
Okay,
that,
let's say that it is a requirement session.
it's a requirement session. Okay,
Yeah.
so it's like the initial client meeting.
Yeah, it's a, see, requirement sessions. It's not. It doesn't happen on in one session. Okay, it's a
Okay.
requirement in IT field. So you basically will have a program incremental phases when you
Yes.
have a software, and when it goes to the live. I guess you all know what is SDLC, right?
SDLC. Yes.
Yeah. So that SDLC is actually in the software. It is not one single SDLC. Okay, there it's a parallel, and you guys know Agile, right? So the requirement meeting doesn't happen only on one day. It happens every day.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Go ahead.
So in the client meeting, I would know what the client needs are and how we can add value to it, if I have to put it in a simple way.
Okay.
Like what are the needs and understanding the client better so that we can move forward in respective ways.
Okay. Sonu, why don't you give it a try?
Sure, Avinash. So, since it's a meeting and you haven't specified what type of meeting it is,
Yeah.
I would like to give a generic answer itself, not based on any specific meeting as such. So,
Mm-hmm.
the first thing before going for any meeting is understanding the agenda of the meeting and be prepared with it.
Mm-hmm.
So, preparation is the first part, and knowing the agenda. These two things are very important.
Mm-hmm.
And after you know what the agenda is all about, it's also important that you have a round of discussion with your team so
Mm-hmm.
that everyone is aligned.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and when you jump onto the meeting, it's important that you start with a casual talk first rather than jumping directly onto the main discussion. Is just to have a good rapport with the clients. And after that, you jump to your main agenda. And when you start the agenda, you ask very relevant questions. And for that, you should be prepared ahead what all questions you need to ask so as to get good insights from the client. And after that, I think we need to propose solutions based on what the client needs and document all of the necessary things that are being discussed. And then share like an MOM, I mean, minutes of meeting with the client so that the entire team, I and the client, all of us are on the same page.
Okay, thank you. So since you have the experience, I think you have covered major basis of it. Okay. Now let's say that, and from all of your four people who, when you said like this, so even my answer will be the same, in the same lines. Okay, I will say that I know, if I know that if that is a client meeting, I know that what kind of a meeting it is before I go to it. So normally what I does is, what was the previous meeting, when was the previous meeting happened, and what is the outcome of it. I will see if in them, because for every meeting we will prepare a mom. It's called minutes of meeting, and in that we actually mention what points that we have discussed and what points are left to discuss in the next meeting. So I'll go through it, and then, as everyone said, I will prepare for it. Now I want to go into that preparation thing. Okay, we will go into that preparation thing a little bit later. Now, so I prepare for that meeting, then I will go to the meeting, then I will discuss the same things what Sonam has said. Okay, so it goes in the same lines. Now I want everyone to think about what is a preparation, because everyone said that you're going to prepare for that meeting, right? So as a BA, how you prepare for that meeting? uh, I will ask this first question to the Sonam. So when you say preparation, right, you say that you prepare for the meeting. So what kind of things that you actually do? What is that preparation?
I think the first thing would be to understand the purpose of what would be expected from us, and understanding more about the client itself, because it's always important to know who your audience is and what is the background of your audience. So researching about the company, its business, its areas of interest, um, and then based on that, I would also, as I mentioned, right, we'll have to ask certain set of questions before proposing solutions. So those right set of questions should also be prepared ahead. So these all things would be included in preparation.
Okay. So I will tell you what happens when it comes to the preparation. Okay, there are two ways, two things to it. Okay, once, the one you said that when you have to know about the clients, it actually comes at the initial phase of the project. Okay, and one, in the interview, if someone asks you about this, okay, you should be always in a way that once you have worked, once you have that experience, the way that you actually approach it is, you always have that rapport with the client, because all the meetings that happens with the client are not single meetings. Okay, those are like sequential meetings. So you already know who is your client, what does he likes and what does he doesn't like, right? So when you say that and when you say that, it actually takes only the first couple of meetings, but whereas when you generally prepare for the meeting as a business analyst, when it comes to software technology, is that there are two ways. One is whether you are from the solution provider. Okay, and the second one is where you are the solution, where you are expecting the solution, or you are outsourcing it to the other development team in order to get the solution. Okay, so When you are on the when you are on the IT service provider side, right? You all when you say preparation means that there is actually the client will specify what is his requirement in his system, what does he wants. He let's say that suppose right now we are in a Google meeting, right? So if someone says that in my Google chat I want to add a feature video, right? Until then, if there is no video chat, if someone come, that client requirement is that I want to add a video chat to it. No, as a BA, what you do is you have to do a research on how this video thing happens. Can we actually include that in the solution? Can that and does our software supports that solution? So you have to go and discuss with your technical team first, your architecture team first. Okay, you have to go to the you will be going to the architecture team, discussing with, this is what we are going to discuss with our client. Can this is possible? Is it possible? Get that confirmation and then research about it. Then have that information. Then go to the system, go to the meeting, and then give them, this is the information that I found. So if for adding the video, this is what it happens. The solution, this is how it can come up. So this is all part of preparation. So if you say what is preparation, this is what it is. When you go to interviews, if the recruiter questions you about this, and when you say prepared, you in back of your mind you have to think that, okay, I'm gonna do all this process. No, if the recruiter asks you a question about that back end process, then it will be easy for you to relate it and then answer it. Anyone has any doubts here?
Avinash, I have a question. So you
Yeah,
said this is what we do when we go for interview, not interview, but for
the
meeting
nature.
in regards to gaining the requirements. Is that how we prepare ourselves?
Yeah,
Okay, okay, but then, but when you're trying to understand their requirements, so how do we like later on we research about it and then discuss us with the team? I
yeah.
got a
See,
little confused over there. So if you can,
yeah, yeah. See, when the client say this is my requirement, okay.
okay.
When we go to when the company goes to the go to the see, the actual process is this, okay. For any IT thing, they go for
Mhm.
it. They will have a bid saying that my software will support the solution that you are requiring for, and then they
Mhm.
win the bid, and then from there. The process of requirement and everything comes into the picture, okay. Now,
Mhm.
so initially the client will give you some information related to what he actually wants,
Right.
okay. So
Yeah.
based on that, every company will have a research team or a solution architect team where they will gather information on these things.
Yes.
Now,
Yes.
BA will be also part of that architecture team.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
you will have that information, and you will have basically all the information is nothing but the documents. Okay.
Mhm.
So you will have that resources, then you should be able to read it, understand it, and then you should be able to get the best practices, right? What currently yeah, or currently available in outside, and then find a common solution to it. Because why I'm saying whether it is feasible with the solution is some of the features cannot be supported by Java.
Right.
The features cannot be supported by the software technology that they are capture using with.
Right. Right.
Okay, so
Okay. Okay. Okay.
for
Hmm.
those things we had to discuss with them, we had to get that understanding, and then only we can give confirmation to the clients. The
Yeah.
reason why we have to do it is, if we don't do that research and go to the client meeting, and if he says that I want a video feature in my
Mhm.
Google chat, and without doing this research, if you say yes, right?
Yeah,
When
right.
you say yes, it goes to the minutes of meeting, saying that business
Mhm.
analyst confirm that I can have this. Now, if
Right.
it is in mom, then it will go to the specification documents.
Yeah.
Everything which captured in mom, it goes to the specification documents. So if it goes to the specification documents, means, and when it gets signed off,
Mm.
even if the company has to provide it, even if it costs more. So if it
Okay.
more, then it goes from the company's pocket.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
Okay, for all these reasons, when you do research, you have to do these kind of an exclusive researches.
Okay. Understood. Yeah.
So that's what actual preparation means.
Okay. Understood.
Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, now I just want you to tell me what are the interview questions that you faced, and let us see in a real life scenario how it happens.
So I was not scheduled for any interviews. I never had a real time interview experience as well. But going through the YouTube videos and everything, the main challenge I'm facing is um, inculcating SQL, Tableau, those technical questions, and connecting them to the domain knowledge and putting it as our experience. Framing them is such a tough part I'm going through.
See,
Honestly, I do not have an experience into the sequel. I'm a starter into it, but the questions, the job description is morely involved into those areas, especially the last applications which I applied to.
okay. So one thing that I want you to understand is when you are applying for a job, you are applying for as a business analyst. You are not applying as a data analyst, correct? So
So we are saying it
if
as business data analyst, Avinash.
yeah,
I just wanted to let you know.
oh, okay, you are applying as a business data analyst.
Yes.
Okay, then there is a problem. I will tell you what is it. Okay, if you are a business analyst, if you are a pure business analyst, then you are not supposed to completely write a SQL.
Yes.
Okay, and when I say that SQL or Tableau, if it is a business analyst, when client asks you, it doesn't mean that you have to write a simple query. Let's saying that select star from this table and give me a condition.
Mm.
This is not what they expect from a business analyst. Okay, if you go to a data analyst, if you are applying as a data analyst, that kind of questions that they will ask you is they will be expecting you to write long procedures, long process. It doesn't contains one or two lines. It's a long it's a big para kind of an SQL where you have to join three or four tables, where you have to join different database in order to get the solution. Okay, if that is the thing, I will not be able to help you out. Okay,
Mm.
but as a business analyst, what you does is when they give me that process, when they give me that procedure, or when they give me that whichever the thing which developed by some data analyst, I should be able to crack the logic of it. So currently in my job, even where right now when I'm doing, so when right now I'm doing two two parts of a BA. Okay, one is that I will get questions from the corporate teams saying that we have done some kind of a payment and it got stuck. Uh, can you help me what to do? So what I do is I will go there and I will find out a query there, and then I will try to crack that logic and fetch the data and then fix it. Like I will not fix it, I will inform the data team or technical team to fix it. I will tell them this is the issue.
Okay.
Okay, so as a business analyst, when you go to the interview, this is what they are expecting. They are not expecting you to know A to Z. They are expecting you to know at least there are letters from A to Z, and you can read it once you look at it.
Okay.
Okay, so um, I'm not be able to help you with that, but when you're going to it and when you answer them, okay, if it is not a technical interview, normally what they ask you is like, do you have experience in this? Can you write me a SQL for this? Right?
Hmm.
So if they ask you to write an SQL for this, uh, try to learn related to how to join two tables, left join, right join, okay, and add the conditions. So have this kind of an knowledge about it, and then you go to the interview and you portray yourself to them, saying that you are able to write it and you are able to understand the logic even if someone writes it.
Okay.
Yeah, any other question? I want you to give me.
Uh,
Yeah,
if there's a job description which says like SQL, so like a business analyst does not need to know like in depth about the SQL.
no need, no need.
Because when I did the SQL course, like there were some queries like to change the whole table, delete the table, alter table, that all kind of.
See, that is and all right. That is all your information, okay.
Okay.
To be frank, that is your information. And I'm telling you, people will ask you in interview, they will ask you like, do you know how to delete a table or truncate a table? Right? It's
Yes.
just the information. But
Okay.
in real world, as a BA, you will be never you will never write a query starting with delete or truncate. Okay?
Okay. Okay.
All you work on is select queries where you
Uh-huh.
have to understand the logic and fetch
Yes.
the data
Yes. Yeah.
and analyze the data issue there.
Okay.
So if someone says that SQL in the job description, that doesn't mean that that you need to be a master in SQL. You
Okay.
just need to know ABCD of it.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
And Avinash, can you explain, not explain, but can you brief us out any of your project, like a real-time experience project? Like we are doing live projects, scenario-based projects at NCPL. I want you to share one real-time project which you're currently working on, or which was your past projects, and how as a BA you navigated it. Like for freshers, how would you explain us?
See, how I navigate in what terms?
Like any project, like can you like real time scenario, like I'm not into real time scenarios, right? So you are currently working as a BA, and can you, as a BA, what what were you able to deliver in that project? Like can you brief us
Um,
through us the cycle of a real time BA in a project life cycle in
Like
SDS?
it's like
Okay.
sometimes like interviewer will ask us like, what was your last project? How big was the
like
team?
the life
What was your
cycle of the
duty?
project, the whole life
Okay.
cycle of the project.
It's not a kind of an interview question for
No,
you,
no, 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 no. That's fine. That I understand.
but
Okay.
I want you to
Uh,
like literally show us as
no,
a.
no, because I was trying to figure out which one I had to say. Okay, because currently, the current one which I am doing is with the public services is it has some of the projects, but I am like in last leg of support for that as a BA there. So there
Okay.
are already two prominent BAs. They are the ones who are doing the discussions. This is kind of where we tell to the vendor saying that we want these functions in the features in the system. Okay, but the kind of these kind of roles that they are rare. Okay, but
Mhm.
when it comes to the actual IT business analyst, where the normal people are looking at, which I have experience in TCS is like this. Okay, so there was the last project, or my favorite project was MCX with multi commodity exchange with India. So I was dragged into it in between. I was doing another project. I was dragged into in between as a support BA for them. So there we are actually doing the requirements gathering for it. Okay. So there will be for any project there will be an program incremental phases, and in our BA terms we call it as drops. Okay, so we don't call it as program incremental phases. For Scrum Master, she knows that they will call it as an program incremental phase. But for us, it's a drop. We'll say drop 1, drop 2, drop 3, drop 4, based on the length of that project. Now, for that, drop, for each drop, before going into the drops, as I said, they will give us some functions, they will give us some features, and they say that within 2 years of this period, we want you to develop software for these features and give it to us. Okay, and then in each drop, so for that, as a BA, we should be able to understand, like, we have to start from easy features. Okay, we should not go to the complex features. So first, so based on that, you will be mixing those drops. In one drop, you say that I will cover 8 features or 9 features, and in the second drop, I will cover another 8 or 9 features, and the third drop, I will cover these features. Now, then the drops are decided. That is, that program incremental phases are decided. In this programming incremental phase, we're gonna develop these features. Now, we'll go. Then we'll start discussing with the clients. So for each session, what I have said earlier, the preparation, it is same for me. Okay. When I go to the first client meeting, when I went to the client meeting, that was actually the second client meeting happening for that project. So they are discussing things, and I was there as an observer. I was just being an person who is taking the notes and then helping him with the mock, and the person who is leading that was my project manager. So I was then what happens is, from the next session, it's the same thing. I look at the mock, what are the open points are there for the next meeting, then I will take those meetings, then I will take those points, I will go and check in my current software. Right, if they say that video, let's say that in Google Chat they need a video. Now I will have a base, because I'm an IT provider, I will have a base solution. Right, it doesn't fit to everyone, but it actually works like a framework. It actually works like a basic frame. Right, now I go to that software, I went to that software. Now I said that, okay, this is the feature that I have, and I compared what are the features that I have in my system. Okay, now when each feature matches, right, I don't need to spend more time on it. And when, if there is any feature which has which is completely different from my solution, right, i will I have to research more about it. And then there are some features which are not at all part of my solution, but it is a new request from them. So it's a new request from client to me. Right, so when I go to the meeting, now what I does is, I will mix these 3 things. Okay, when I start the meeting, I will tell them that, see, you have given me a feature, I have an as it is feature in my system, and this is the document which tells you how it works. So you go back, you discuss with your client, you discuss with your team, come back to me and tell me, is it okay? If you say it is okay, then I'm gonna develop in the same way for your solution, and I will give it right now. So I don't need to capture any requirements for that.
Oh,
Now there is a second one which says that, which is actually there in my product, but it deviates from the client's requirement. Now what I say, I will tell them that, see, this is my this I have a knowledge until here. Now you said that you need an additional information. Now tell me what it is and how does you want it, how you want to provide it. Right, now
yes.
we take that requirement. Now when there is a new requirement from the client, then I actually ask starts from the open questions. I will ask him that what it is. Then I will ask him like a closed questions, because once he explains me that function, then I will ask him like, okay, is it this, okay, is it this, and then I will ask him more clarification about it.
Okay.
Now this is the way where everyday meetings go with the clients. Now, once we completed the discussions for the drop with that customer, then we will start drafting our specification document. So until then, whichever the things that we have discussed and what we have documented in the MOMS, now it goes to the specification document. The specification document will have our flowcharts, will have our use case diagrams and everything. Okay. Now,
Yes.
all our BA lives is depend upon how come you gonna get sign off for that document, specification document. If your BA specification document gets signed off within 2 to 3 iterations, that means you prepare the document, you send it to the client send it back to you saying that I want some changes in this process, because in mom you say that these are the features and then you accept it. But whereas in specification document you tell them that how my software works. So he will give back to you saying that I want some changes in it. Now then you will send it to them. So that's called the iteration. So how many documents iteration is there? That's where the BA success rate depends upon. So when in interview someone asks you, you can tell them that my success rate as a business analyst is I can get you document sign off within 2 to 3 iterations. Okay, that's a matrix for us. So we'll get that sign off, and then we'll go to the our technical team, and then they will they'll start developing it. And for that project, I was actually leading the testing team as well. So it has normally what you will do is once you give the document, once a developer develops it, you will be part of the Scrum calls, because you have to give your suggestions to the development team saying that why you wanted that feature, how you wanted that feature. And once it gets developed, you are the one who has to do initial testing, because you have to say that whether the testing is whether they have developed as per the specification document or not. Only if you give the confirmation, then only it will give for then only it will go for drop delivery or for later part of any testing. This is what it happens. And one more thing that I want to share here is, let's say that your document is signed off, and then in the drop you have to deliver that feature. Now what happens is client comes and he says that I want this function to be developed first instead of the other function. So that's where that you use agile is for this purpose. It is not that waterfall is bad. It's only that agile will help you to rectify these kind of things, or to help in these kind of situations. Okay, this is how the actual real scenario works. Because the definition that you read in books, or your definition that they teach you, it is as it is. But when you started working, you will not see them directly. They are always on the background.
Okay, thanks, Avinash.
No problem.
Thank you.